Ukraine, a blessed land, our motherland, the ancient Dnipro Slavuta. Черкасsi region, heart of this land, warmed by the sun, smells of fresh bread and sunflowers, and is immersed in periwinkles and roses. Located on the river Dnipro, Черкасsi is accessible by plane or automobile, and for those who like slower travel, the railway is always a good way. Ukraine's Черкасsi region is a unique historical area, unique spiritual cradle, and the geographical center of the country. Key historical events mark this territory. Famous Ukrainian statesman and politician Bogdan Khmelnytsky and Ukrainian poet Taras Shevchenko, as well as many other outstanding geniuses of the Ukrainian nation, lived and worked in this region. According to the state registration, there are 9,266 historical and cultural monuments located in the region, including 85 which have significant national importance. The Shevchenko Cultural Reserve in Kaniv, Taras Shevchenko's village in Shevchenkovo, and the Cheherin village all have a national status. Every district in the Черкасsi region has many interesting places. Черкасsi, one of the most picturesque cities, is located on the Dnipro River. Here, one can visit the Regional Museum of Local History. Черкасsi itself was first mentioned as a town with military detachments about 720 years ago. However, some historic evidence shows that a modern city settlement existed at this place in 2000 BC, in the epoch of copper and bronze. Lithuanian records trace Черкаssi's history from the end of the 13th century. However, all historic documents have been buried in the Kremenchug water reserve. Черкасsi was considered the southern Kiev-Rus outpost because of the high, steep and dangerous riverbank surrounded by ancient woods. The freedom-loving people of the Middle Dnipro area settled here. They were not afraid in the times of the Tatars' raids. Черкасsi became a fortress after the arrival of the Cherkess, name of the tribe, military detachment who earned a living by military service. A wide Dnipro river formed around several islands, slowing the advancing Tatars. The Western travelers of the Cossack period called Черкасsi one of the three largest cities in Ukraine. Here, the largest peasants' revolts took place, burning the city to ashes. The largest factories and plants operated in the Черкасsi region. A majority of the Черкасsi architectural monuments date back to the end of the 19th century. A few still exist in the city. For example, a former men's gymnasium now houses the contemporary music college. The old wall, which has been preserved by builders, reminds one of the past Ukrainian glories. The drama theater provides good opportunities for theatergoers. Recently, it has been awarded national academic status. Now, this theater undergoes wide-scale reconstructions. Renovation of the facade, hall, auditorium and stage will occur next. Old stage equipment, lighting and sound apparatus will be replaced. The Philharmonic Hall has been renovated recently and is to convey the Ukrainian culture to future generations. One can listen to wonderful folk songs, classical music and admire the amusing art of dance. Those who are interested in Ukrainian history can go to one site housing the Art Museum and Museum of One Book Kobzar. This building is a historic monument and a unique museum.
The small village of Morinci, Звенигородка district, is known as a sacred place for the Ukrainian region, as well as being famous all over the world. There stands a small hut where the Ukrainian famous poet Taras Shevchenko was born and spent his childhood. Famous artists, writers, and state leaders often come here to draw upon the spiritual power and ideas. While the original hut hasn't been preserved, this place was restored according to sketches by Shevchenko's autobiographer Alexander Kunitsky. Taras's grandfather, Yakim Boyko, lived in a nearby hut. A monument to Shevchenko's mother, Katerina, shows her as a symbol of motherhood. The chapel at the end of the village offers a place for travelers to light candles and unburden their souls. The interesting ancient Chumaks house badly needs repairs. When little Taras was a year and a half old, his parents moved to Kirillivka, now in Shevchenkova village, Звенигородка district. The family lived in a small house where the sculpture Traveling Taras has been erected. The National Reserve, that is Shevchenko's motherland, is a part of the Golden Hoof project. About 2,500 tourists visit every year. From this place, little Taras began traveling the world. The poet's many banishments are inscribed on the pillars here. Kaniv is another unique burial place associated with the great poet Kobzar Shevchenko. Taras Shevchenko was reburied in Kaniv on the 22nd of May, 1861, 42 days after he died. The body, transported over 1,000 kilometers distance through Moscow, Tula, Orel, Gluchiv, Krylivets, Baturin, and Kiev by train, cart, and ship, was finally buried on a high steep Dnipro riverbank. His tomb resembled a high Cossacks hill, kurgan, with a big wooden cross. After 23 years, the cross was ruined by rain and was replaced with a cast iron cross. In the times of the communist religious oppressions, the cross was replaced with the poet's bust. The current monument on Chernecha Hill in Kaniv was erected in 1939. After Shevchenko National Reserve reconstruction is complete, people will be able to visit the improved museum. Cheherin district. Cheherin was the capital of Ukraine in the 17th century when Bogdan Khmelnytsky was hetman. Now, after several years of reconstruction activity, the Museum of the Middle Dnipro area has opened. Its modern halls exhibit about 250 archaeological findings. Among the rarities that the Ukrainian-Polish archaeological expedition found in Skiff burial ground are horse harness remnants. Archaeological excavations on Peter and Paul's temple are almost finished. This church is a square, 17 by 17 meters, stone and cement building with a triangle pediment and a high saddleback roof. The temple, ruined many times by the Mongols and Tatars, was completely destroyed during the Second Cheherin March. Today, this temple has been restored according to the findings. At the foot of Chernecha Hill, Hetman's military chancellery and other ancient buildings are being reconstructed. According to the master plan, the museum complex will have 13 buildings: the Hetman's family house, guard's place, kitchen, bakery, food storage buildings, horse stable, sheds, cellar, entrance towers, and a fence. The infrastructure will be developed as well. The Cossack received 30 golden coins. In those times, a saber cost 10-15 coins. A rifle cost 15-25 coins. A small cannon was 450 cows, and one shot of the cannon cost 9 cows. Near Zamkova Hill is the only Bogdan Khmelnytsky museum in Ukraine. Built 11 years ago, it was only used for temporary exhibitions. Recently, the museum received a collection of the 17th-18th century cold steel and firearms. The sabers, daggers, trivets, and knives are of Oriental origin. It's well known that Cossacks used this type of arms. It was also used by the best European armies. Cheherin is associated with the Khmelnytskys. The highly educated Bogdan Zinovy was predestined to become the most outstanding hetman of Ukraine. His career as a politician and diplomat quickly developed because he could implement any idea. That is why he led the 9-year national liberating struggle of the Ukrainian people and created a Cossack autonomous military state within the Rech Pospolita state.
Kamenka. At the beginning of the 19th century, the Decembrists, first wise Russian revolutionaries, gathered on the Raevsky's estate in Kamenka. The famous Russian poet Pushkin often visited this place. This land inspired Tchaikovsky, the great Russian musician and composer. Precious relics from that time are exhibited in the museum. Ukrainians appreciate and remember geniuses. Korsun. The legend about the name Rus is closely connected with this picturesque place. The ancient tribal Rosses lived on the banks of the river Ros. Rus, or Russia, derived its name from this place. It is a wonderful place and wonderful legend. Uman. Have you ever been to the romantic Elysian fields? Have you ever walked in the complete silence of an English park? Have you ever admired the wonderful landscapes of Switzerland? Has your heart ever stopped beating because of the Love Island beauty? Have you ever walked in the mysterious Crete labyrinth? And if you feel like you're crossing the dead lake in a boat while conquering the underground river Styx, then you must be in Sofiivka Park in Uman. A German military engineer and architect, Ludwig Metzel, created this park as a gift to a Greek woman, Sophia, Duke Potocki's wife. People still remember the talented gardener Zaremba and his nameless co-workers creating the unique garden. Let's wander the quiet park lanes, admire its extraordinary beauty, and meet real art.